On this episode of You Should Be Watching, we talk about the great Sonic the Hedgehog movie, then we jump into which is the best Fast and the Furious film, and we also talk about 90s action films. Which was the best one? We'll find out right now. Hey guys, and welcome to a new episode of You Should Be Watching. Today I'm joined by some very special guests, mi familia right here. Thank you for joining me. We've got Matt, we've got Chris, and we've got Dave. Guys, Corona Toast.
Oh, hey. Let's begin.
Familia. If you haven't picked up on this, we're doing a Fast and the Furious themed episode right now, and that is why Matt is dressed this way.
This is my normal outfit, actually.
Never mind. Sorry.
I love having a gaudy this and look.
Why do you guys have the same necklace?
We sure do.
Oh, we love Dominic Toretto.
Of course.
Yeah.
We're stern followers of the Church of Dom.
Mm-hmm.
The Church of Dom, of course, yes. So let's introduce you to our audience. So you may have seen them or heard their voices in some GameSpot Universe videos. But Matt, tell us what you do. Who you are.
I'm Mat Elfring. Thanks for asking, Chastity.
You're welcome.
I am the news editor of entertainment on GameSpot, and I occasionally do voiceover for videos about streaming, which is like Netflix and things like that.
Oh, yes.
And I'm a human being. That's another thing about me.
That's right.
You're
Interesting facts.
I'm also a dad. Oh, boy. Ooh.
And you're a dad. To your right.
I'm Chris Hayner. I just entertainment editor. I write about TV, film, and theme parks.
Very nice.
I'm not a dad. I am a
dad.
human.
You are definitely
For
a
the
human.
most part. Not a dad, though.
Got it. And to your right.
Hey, I'm Dave Klein. I go by Dom usually when I wear my gaudy necklace that I forgot.
Should we change your lower third to Dom?
Yes, I think so. I'm a video producer for the entertainment team, so which means everything that goes into video, writing, researching, on camera, shooting, editing, producing, and putting it together, everything.
Yeah, you may have seen him in our Rick and Morty videos and also The Matrix Explained, which is a big video that did very well for us.
Yeah.
Good job on that. That's a good one. All right, I have a big question for the three of you. So, when we have new guests on the show, you need to name 3 shows or movies that would explain your personality.
Oh, shows
Who's
too.
ready?
Okay, I was thinking movies.
Who's ready? Chris, you look ready.
Chris.
I was born ready for this. I live my life a quarter mile at a time,
Hey.
as we know. My 3 movies, the first one is Jaws. Do I explain why? Or do I
You
just
can,
roll
yes.
Oh,
You can.
Jaws is my favorite movie of all time. It made me horrified of sharks as a child and an adult. And it gave me a healthy fear and respect of the ocean.
As you should.
Right? My number 2 is the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie, which to my mind is still the best superhero film ever made.
So
Come at me, Marvel.
30th
So not
anniversary.
Secret of the Ooze, the first one.
Secret of the Ooze is great. Don't get me wrong. Like I played
film.
that tape to death. But no, it is the first one. It is for a 9-year-old me, that is a dark and gritty film.
The first
to
one
see in
scared me as a
theaters.
kid.
It's horrifying, but it felt so good, and it falls in line with the comic.
I had to close my eyes at certain parts because it was too scary.
Like when Raphael.
I
sits
still
down.
close my eyes at certain parts.
Favorite turtle?
Donatello, obviously.
Of course.
What a silly question, right,
Mistake.
Oh,
Wait,
boy.
that was 2.
Yeah.
Donatello's
I thought you were saying
derailing.
Oh, no,
We're
derailing.
I thought you were yeah.
Derailing.
Well, and then
It
my
happens.
third movie is the spiritual successor to the 1990 Ninja Turtles movie, Paddington 2.
Of course.
Yes.
Please
Because,
expound on Paddington 2.
Paddington 2 is, anyone who works around me knows how I feel about this movie. It is the most pure and delightful joy I've ever felt in my life. The first time I saw it, I was having just a terrible week, and I went into the movie theater. I walked out with a giant smile on my face, and it's like that every time I watch it. And he lives by the code that if you're kind and polite, the world will be right. And I'm into that.
Words to live by.
Absolutely.
I think that's the one unanimous movie amongst the entire team where we all agree it's a good film.
It's just
I
good.
haven't seen it.
It's the GameSpot Universe movie.
Matt, how could you? I haven't seen it either.
We're both out of my family.
Oh, man. Are we off the show?
All right, I'm
The
sorry.
door's
All
that
right,
way.
I'll see myself
The door's
out.
that way. See you later. Thanks for coming.
You realize this is Paddington Spot, right?
This is Paddington Spot. That is correct. Dave, come back. Come back here. You're part of the familia.
Okay.
You're
I was
part
just waiting
of
for the
familia.
invitation.
Welcome
Okay.
back, Dave.
Thanks.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
All right, Matt, are you ready?
I'm ready to go. I'd like to tell you and everybody else here, all 3 of us. My first movie is Pop Star Never Stop, Never Stopping, Never Stop, Never
Yes.
Stopping.
Yes.
I just
good.
watched that for the first time 2 nights ago.
It's brilliant. It's my favorite mockumentary. The soundtrack to it is brilliant. It just everything about it, like the writing is wonderful. There's a lot of I don't know if this is the technical term, but like cyclical dialogue, where they'll start at a character will start at one point with the problem, that problem will transfer to the other person who turns that problem back on the first person. It's very weird and just wonderfully written, and I love Popstar with all my heart.
The music is so good in that movie.
I'm So
too.
Humble is the best way to open that song.
I love
that
I'm So
whole movie.
Humble.
It's great.
And like name a better comedy in the last 2 decades because I
No.
can't. It's perfect.
It is perfect.
I've heard, who was it who liked Hot Rods more?
That's somebody else in the team we're not going to mention.
No.
She's great, but
Meg.
that's the wrong answer.
Oh, it was Meg. Okay,
the
right.
wrong
Yeah.
answer.
Hot Rod, good movie.
Hot
It's
Rod
great.
is good.
Nowhere
It's
near
great.
better
Hot
than
Rod is good.
Popstar.
Yeah.
My second movie is Demolition Man, which is my favorite sci-fi action movie of all time.
More
Not-
on that later.
Definitely more on that. Briefly, like not only is it a great action or sci-fi movie, but it's also kind of satire of where American culture was going, and kind of now it's still relevant again of kind of where we're headed, and it's also just a madness, and I love it. And Dan
Also-
Cortese's in it.
And Taco Bell.
And it's so much Taco
And
Bell.
Fast
So
Food
much
Wars.
Taco Bell.
The great Fast Food Wars.
Yes.
Franchise Wars.
Franchise Wars. Thank you.
Get out of here.
Get
I'm sorry,
out.
Jake, I'm sorry.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
God.
Get outta
That's strike
here.
2. That's strike 2 for me.
Dave.
If I were Cocteau, you would be down below with Dennis Leary doing stupid monologues from his
Eating rat
stand-up.
burgers, man.
You know, maybe
He'd
good.
just be doing Dennis Leary's stand-up.
Yeah.
Do you have a third?
Third right now, I'm going to say that like the third slot for me would always be ever changing because I'm always watching things. That's just entertainment. It's just what we do. Right now I'm loving Mythic Quest on Apple TV Plus, which is the only show on Apple TV Plus that is worth my time at all. It's just Silicon Valley mixed with It's Always Sunny, but about game developers. And
Nice.
it's by Rob McElhenney. I can never say his last name. McElhenney. Thank you, man.
Is it as funny as Always Sunny?
No, it's definitely not as funny
It's
as either of
definitely
those
not
shows.
as dark.
No, not as dark, but it's really fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's a very different kind of humor, but like it's still, I think it's very, very.
I've been trying to figure out how to watch it because my mom texted me like 3 days ago, you have to watch Mythic Quest. This would be right up your alley. And then I went, she was like, is it Hulu or Apple TV? And I checked and I couldn't find it anywhere. Is it Apple TV?
It's Apple TV
It's Apple
Plus.
TV.
How do you
to
watch
access
Apple TV?
I think you have to throw your phone at a wall,
Right?
and then go to the Apple Store and buy a new one and have them show you.
It's a
And then you
subscription
get like
service.
a free subscription
So,
when
basically-
you get a new phone.
Is it a full free subscription or do you have to pay? Like, is it
I
1
have it
month
for
free
1 year.
subscription?
You get
Okay.
a year when you buy a new device.
Got it.
Or it's $6 a month,
yeah, it's
but like
$6.
it's not worth money. I mean, maybe if Mythic Quest comes out somewhere else,
It's your
like,
favorite show right now, but it's not worth money.
because there's so much other
the
like
service
garbage.
itself is worth money because they don't
It's
have like
bad.
a programming library or like they have C starring Aquaman.
Servant's
which is
not
terrible.
bad, but
Servant's fine.
So I'll just wait until Mythic Quest is over
It
and
is
then
over
get
now.
a
It's-
1 month. Okay, so I'll get a 1
they
month
dropped it
now.
all at one time. Honestly, if I were you, I would wait until they just put it for sale on.
or
the
do like the
iTunes
1
movie
month
store.
for free. I'm sure
Well,
that
that's what I was saying. I'll do
And
the 1
just
month for
watch
free.
Mythic Quest.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like
And
that
then
was
stop.
it.
Run away.
There it is. All right, Dave, on to you.
Oh, you're putting me on the spot. What are we
the
doing?
spot. You've had many minutes to figure this out.
What are we figuring out?
Many moons
3
here.
movies that encompass
3
Yeah.
movies.
Movies or shows?
We actually had the same conversation at the hotel a few nights ago. For me, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, just because I love adventure, I like exploring things, and for me, I like history, so that combines all of those things. I wish I was Harrison Ford, but it's impossible to be that cool, so I'm
That's
not.
true. No one is Harrison Ford.
No
Only
one.
Harrison Ford.
No one. My second one would be Surf Ninja.
Surf Ninjas.
Surf Ninjas, even though it's a terrible movie, that doesn't matter because ninjas are awesome and surfing's awesome.
and Ernie Reyes Jr. star Surf Ninjas is
Yes.
awesome.
And Rob Schneider is in it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the
Oh
Game
my
Gear
God.
one, right? Where he's playing
Yeah,
his
that is
adventures
the
on
Game
a
Gear
Game
one.
Gear. Oh,
Yeah.
God, I love that
And
movie.
Game Gear is in it.
And Leslie Nielsen's the bad
so
guy.
these are 3 things that are me
I don't-
in one movie.
You said it was a bad movie. This all sounds amazing.
It is
Clearly.
amazing things.
It's very 90s.
It's like it's very 90s. It's like amazingly bad. That type of bad.
Love
It's so bad it's good.
There
that
it
type
is.
of bad. It's because that's a 90s
Also,
thing. It's so
A
bad.
movie
Yeah.
that wouldn't exist without Ninja Turtles 2: The Secret of the Ooze,
True.
because Ernie Reyes Jr. got his he was Kino,
Yeah.
and then
That's
they were like,
that's right.
"Give us
Yeah.
a movie."
There you go.
But yeah, 3 things about me is I surf, I love video games, and I do acrobatics and stunts and stuff like that. So there we go. That's me. And then third one's just my favorite movie of all time, which is Dread.
Dread's great.
Dread's
Dread is
Yes.
awesome. Dread felt like a video game.
Yeah, in a way. Yeah. I mean, it came out at the same time as the Raid Redemption.
Yep.
Also a fantastic
Oh, yeah.
movie.
Kind of the same movie.
Right, they're
but-
basically the
Kinda
same
same.
movie, but I feel like the Raid Redemption in a way took away from Dredd. Also, the fact that Judge Dredd, no one wanted to see Dredd because of Judge Dredd. Even though Judge Dredd is fun, it's a fun. I
It's a
finally
movie.
watched it. It's fine.
It's
Judge
also
Dredd's
got
fine.
Rob Schneider.
Yeah, it's,
And,
yeah.
and Stallone.
It's a Rob
Stallone,
Schneider
yeah.
And
theme.
Stallone.
Right, and Stallone. But yeah, Dredd is just so good. I
Dredd's fantastic.
really wish there had been a second one.
I
And I
would
know
watch
Carl
one.
Urban does too. So
I would watch a sequel. They
I
can still make one.
100% would.
I mean,
can
what's
still
Carl
make
Urban
one.
doing? I know he wants to play the character again.
yeah.
Isn't he on The Boys?
He's
He
definitely
is
on The
on The
Boys. The
Boys.
Boys is
The
great.
Boys is great.
Boys
Oh,
is
The Boys
great.
is so good.
That was good.
That was a great-
Season 2's coming.
Actually, maybe that's what that'll be my thing.
Okay. Next segment is What's on Your TV. So tell me something that you're watching that you'd like to recommend for our audience. So, Matt, what are you watching?
Well, aside from Mythic Quest,
Let's go back to Mythic Quest.
maybe I'll jump over to something else. I love Bon Appetit on YouTube. Can that count?
Yes, no, that counts.
Like, that-
It's-
it should
we're just
count.
recommending things to
Absolutely.
watch that we don't regularly get to write things about or make
I'm just
videos
gonna start
about.
writing about Bon Appetit. Their
You
videos are
can.
so good.
They are very good.
It's just the Bon Appetit magazine, which is about recipes and cooking and things that my mom would read growing up. I'm like, that's silly. But now as an adult, I'm like, I love cooking.
so aside from cooking, what is it that attracts you to the show?
The personalities on there are fantastic. I love Brad, even though he's kind of a bumbling idiot. He has a show, It's Alive, where he kind of like ferments a lot of things and works with that. Molly, I'm not too keen on. She's very like East Coast type of personality, which I don't. But I still love the shows, even if I don't like the personalities. I like seeing I think it's Carla that does cooking with like a celebrity, and they have their backs turned to each other, and she just kind of directs that celebrity on how to cook a meal. And it's just really interesting, kind of fresh new idea and on how to do a YouTube video. And again, I love cooking, so
Are there any particular episodes that you would recommend to someone who hasn't seen it before? 'Cause
so
there's just so many.
it's Delaney. There's this guy Delaney whose personality I do not like on the show at all. Like, he's kind of like a hipster, New York, Brooklyn hipster, but he does these episodes where he just he went to Chicago and he ate a ton of Chicago hot dogs. He goes to New York to find the best New York pizza. And that's just what he does. And it's just really, really fun to kind of watch this guy I don't like eat. I don't,
That's so. Are you hate/love watching it at the same time since you don't like this guy?
he's a great host. It's just his personality type. I'm like, I'm not kind of into that, but he's just really great at being on camera, great about talking about food, and kind of bringing you in. And if you can find a person on any type of documentary series, anything like that, that you personality wise, you're like, no, we would never hang out in real life, but they're dragging you in. That's good television.
Yeah, I mean, he's a good host then, like you said. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Right on.
Chris, what are you watching?
I recently went through a horrible experiment where I binge watched 2 seasons of You over the course of a week.
Let's go. That's a
it's-
lot in one week.
Wait, how many episodes?
It's
It's
I
10
think
each?
It's 10 each.
So
Okay.
that's
Uh,
20
well,
and
Are they
1
hour
week.
longs?
They are.
Yes.
All right, okay,
Yeah. So my girlfriend watched the first, and she was like, "I think you might like this." Then I couldn't stop. It's
Okay.
the most bonkers thing I've ever seen.
I'm really happy to hear this because I watch it and I was like, oh, I could never recommend this to any of my guy friends. I don't think they'd like it, but hearing that you like it,
it's ridiculous.
'cause,
And
I
and
don't-
I've gone back.
It's addictive.
It's very addictive because they always just throw in a little or a gigantic twist. You're like, well, I can't stop.
Yeah.
I need to know where this is going next.
So we need to fill in the people that have never heard of this show.
You
So please
is
describe the show.
Starring Penn Badgley, I think, from Gossip Girl.
Yes, Gossip Girl star.
The show emotionally portrays him as just kind of lovesick and he just wants to be in love, but he's also a murderer and a stalker.
Okay.
Who
Yes.
he's like, I decide I love her. I will kill people to make this work out. Her ex-boyfriend gone, her best friend, whatever. It's so he fixes on one person and he does whatever it takes to make the relationship work out, and it just keeps blowing up in his face more and more.
So what do you struggle with in recommending this to guy friends? Because I get there's the
Because
rom-com
it was
element.
initially like a Lifetime show.
So it
Okay.
started as
Oh,
a
really?
Yes.
Like, does it have it like lifetime feeling?
No. So this is the weird thing. It started as a Lifetime series, and Lifetime canned it because I guess people didn't watch it on Lifetime.
So that's pretty much why.
But
Yeah.
but
All right.
Netflix added it, and people went bananas for it. So Netflix is like, well, then we'll buy it, and we'll just make another season, and they've already renewed it for another season.
I don't think Netflix was that quiet about buying it. They're probably just like, here's money, give us content.
I honestly don't think they had to pay much money for it.
Probably not.
It was
Probably not.
canceled.
Yeah.
But
It's
yeah,
cheap.
it is ridiculous in every single way. And what I love most about it is Penn Badgley, who has done so many interviews where he's like, people come up to me and they're like, they're in love with my character. I'm like, you don't understand. He is the worst possible human being.
Yeah, he's like, please
He's
do not fall in
disgusting.
love with this character. This is a bad man. You should not be in love with this man. He's terrible. But it's very addictive. He does a
Yeah.
great job. But yeah, it's very soapy and fun, and it also has a lot of pop culture in it as well, and like literature and book culture as well. He's like very into books.
Yeah, he loves books. I will say
books.
this: season 2 is set in Los Angeles. For season
Yes.
1's in New York, season 2 is in Los Angeles, and it's a version of Los Angeles that does not exist. It is what every person from New York thinks Los Angeles is.
Yes.
So pretentious and like
And
Yeah.
everybody's rollerblading?
No, like come to.
I
our-
kinda wish
no,
that's what
it's-
Los Angeles
it's
was like.
legit, come to our organic produce store where you can also get like a gourmet meal, and we have a bookstore in the corner.
Okay.
okay.
You're like, that's
yeah.
not a place.
No.
Yeah, that's the setting for season 2, basically.
Chris, I'm a big dum-dum. Would I like this show or is it too
Matt,
smart
you
for
would
me?
love this
Okay.
show. It's well. Plus, the framing device for the entire show is you're experiencing the story through his internal monologues.
Okay.
As he's in his mind talking to the girl he's fixated on about like, I did this all for you, and like I'll do anything.
So he's a sociopath, straight up.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
So I have a question related to that. I watched Fleabag recently, a few episodes, and it was really hard for me to get into because I don't like the main character.
I love Fleabag.
But for me, that's a thing where if I dislike the main character or that I find them unlikable, it's hard for me to get into a show.
So there's like
So
2 ways to watch you. It's just like
But I-
you want to see
yeah.
like you're like he's messing up. He's gonna get caught. He's gonna get caught. Oh, I can't wait till he gets caught. Or you actually like this guy and you kind of cheer for him sometimes.
Okay, 'cause
there are
it-
parts of it that are like those episodes of Dexter where you're
Yes.
like, oh, it's all over now.
It's over.
Yeah.
How did he work his way out of this?
yeah, because I guess that was my question: is if I would find it enjoyable if I don't like that main character,
If you
or if
badly
that's too
want him to
hard
get
for
caught,
me.
you're just like, oh, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
Okay.
Well, and
the
the way,
stakes
and also he presents himself to the outside world as someone you want to like and you want to root for.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the show plays it, you can see how both sides of this are believable, and it also makes you question everyone in your life.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Because you're
mildly
like,
terrifying.
what are you all hiding from me?
He acts like such a normal, nice guy, and like he acts like people I know, and I was just like, could they possibly be murderers?
I'm afraid.
What are they
Definitely
hiding?
not.
Chastity,
What
I
are
am
you
murder.
hiding? What are
100%
you
no.
hiding?
Murder.
Wow. All right.
All the murders.
I mean, I knew
Wow.
that though.
I mean,
Yeah, I tell you.
obviously.
You tell me everything.
Right. So that's not a hiding. There's other things. It's like, well, we know you murder people, but what are you hiding?
Because
Oh, that
yeah.
I gave them proper burials.
Oh, okay.
That's nice.
That's what I'm hiding.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. So I go back to being a nice guy.
Yeah, yeah, because like I love Downton Abbey, so the girly aspect doesn't scare me away. It's just that
No,
it's an
it's-
unlikable character.
This was a Lifetime show that got canceled, so I was like, I probably
Yeah.
can't recommend this to
Well,
most
but also
people.
beyond that, like the cast is incredible.
Yeah.
And season 1 and season 2 have largely different casts because
Yes.
it's two different
different settings.
two different girls that he fixates on, 2 different settings. But like the casts in both seasons are very engaging. And
Yeah.
like by the end of the series, I was like hooked into like what's going on with I forget her name's friends or like I
Is the character's name? I forget.
I forget the season 1 love interest name.
Beck.
Beck. I cared about her like her friends were obnoxious and she knows they're obnoxious, but like they're friends, so whatever. But I cared about them by the end.
Yep. Dave, what are you watching?
I'm gonna go. I want to talk about The Boys because
Boys.
yeah, because I watched that more recently. I didn't watch it when it first came out, and I heard about it first at Comic-Con because we saw billboards and signs for it everywhere. And I think it especially stands out to me because I'm tired of superhero stuff. I'm over it, but the fact that this is a superhero thing that I love really stood out to me, and I think it was my favorite thing I watched within the past year, probably, of like
Do
TV
you
show
love it
wise.
because it has a different take?
Yeah,
on
I
the
think.
superhero
Well, I think it's
genre?
just the idea of like the superheroes. So the boys in it, the superheroes are assholes. They're the worst people for the most part. I mean, there's like some nice ones, but most of them are like narcissistic, horrible people who are
They have their own agendas.
right, and they're just so full of themselves because it's. I don't know if it's a more realistic take. It's a more cynical take on superheroes, and that's what's fun about it is that it's the main characters that you follow for the most part outside of these superheroes are people who don't like them and are trying to figure out how to murder superheroes as normal people, and that's fun and like it just moves really fast too. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's like moments where I was like I couldn't believe how quickly it went. And like the fact that they were already like trying to dust superheroes right away it was like, whoa, oh my God, they're already doing that. It's a fantastic show.
Don't read the comic.
Don't.
Don't.
Is the show better?
No,
The
yes.
show is
Yeah, the show's way
great
better.
compared to.
Oh, wow.
They took source material that like what I was a comic book journalist when that came out.
Yeah.
So I was reviewing that book and I enjoyed it, I guess, but it wasn't. It's just about violence and murder, which is violence actually.
Like,
As
is
it-
it
as it
like
happens to
violence,
be.
violence for the sake of violence?
Yeah,
Just
like swearing
shock
for the sake
value?
of swearing. Like,
So would you say it has violence, murder, shooting people, knifing people?
yeah, sexual assault's a big part of it too, which is kind
Yeah.
of hard to. Obviously, it's hard to read. But the comic, that like you can tell that at the core of that book, there's something really interesting there. But it's just surrounded by so much BS that when it was announced as a TV show, I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
This can't work.
Yeah, I decided to watch it. I'm like, oh, they took the things I liked about the comic and just kind of toned everything down a whole lot.
Which made it much more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I cared about the characters for once.
Yeah, I jumped on the wiki because I was curious because I haven't read the comics and I was curious about the changes and all that. And I was kind of surprised to find just how different it seemed to be. Like outside just characters looking different, the fact that it's like characters acted different.
Yeah.
Even the the main characters, like all of them, like some of them are different. Like there's an Aquaman type of character in the show, but
Yeah.
there isn't in the comics. So that was like a new thing where they modernized it in a way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's-
I also do appreciate how it's obviously just the Justice League.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, oh,
It's
yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
Justice League.
Oh, I mean, it's because that's
Yeah.
Garth Ennis and Derek Robertson, which are Derek Robinson. Yeah. We're just a phenomenal writer and artist team. And it was just when they wrote this book, I believe it was Dynamite Comics, they just got to do whatever they want. And so for me, it was just, that's too much, guys. Come on. Like, you guys are a great team. You can tell a story. Turn the knob down, which
Yeah.
is what Amazon did.
Right. I mean, it's still like
It's still a
it's-
lot.
right. There's still a lot, but it's not like there's uncomfortable moments, but not so uncomfortable that you don't want to watch. It's
Yeah.
just, and they know when to skip forward in a sense. Where like, okay, you know what happened, but you don't need to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I highly recommend it.
And we're getting a season 2 this year.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I
coming.
think it's already wrapped.
Yeah, it did wrap.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Even like the ending of this season, I was like shocked what happened
Yeah.
to end. I was just totally surprised the whole way through, which is rare nowadays.
Yeah.
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 It's good. I saw a little film called Sonic the Hedgehog,
Yeah.
which I know 2 of you have seen already. And I did the spoiler review for this movie on our channel, GameSpot Universe.
We're not talking spoilers, right?
But no, we
No,
are
I
not
haven't
talking
seen it yet,
spoilers.
so don't
Yeah,
spoil it.
Matt hasn't seen it. Also,
Do you believe when
the show
Batman
is
showed
not.
up?
Chris!
I cannot believe it. Yeah, and it was my favorite Batman as well, George Clooney.
Yes. All the
Nipples
nipple.
and all,
So
yeah.
much nipple and codpiece.
But yeah, Sonic was great. I thought that was probably the best live action Sonic we could get, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially considering where we started at with the live action Sonic.
Oh,
original.
yeah.
Oh my God.
That
yeah.
original design.
I wanted it. When everybody was complaining, I'm like, no, you just give them the bad design.
I want them to release that as a
I
special
wanna
feature
watch
on
it.
the Blu-ray.
because they finished that, right? They wrapped on post production.
Yeah, I mean, there's yeah, that'd be awesome on the Blu-ray. I mean, there was a part of me when it first happened, the first trailer, that was like, Sonic, that whole meme cracks me up. I'm in on the horrible Sonic jokes. I think they're great. So I was like, you know what? All right, if it's a train wreck, I'll enjoy it for that.
Yeah.
But I was pleasantly surprised by how good it was.
Yeah.
It was just
think
like
we
a
all were.
genuinely good movie, especially like a kid movie. I mean, like it's like a 90s kids movie, and it's great.
Yeah, it's for kids. It's for Sonic fans. I think Sonic fans of all ages will enjoy this film.
And
like I
speak-
like
Kids
it.
at heart, even.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And
Oh,
speaking
yes.
of 90s, like Jim Carrey at his peak 90s.
So 90s.
best.
Is he like super like facial expression in this movie?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
dancing and
with
just
an
everything.
amazing mustache.
I do like mustache.
Yeah, he does.
He does do
He
a
does do a
lot
little
of
dance,
dancing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Oh, it's so
very
good.
90s Jim Carrey. Like there were like elements of like as if he took his performance from playing the Riddler and just turned that switch back on, and it's like that physicality from that. The same. Yeah,
I
he's
also
great.
want to shout out James Marsden. This is the second
good.
time he starred in a movie where he was sidekicked by a CGI character.
Wait, what was
He's
the other one?
Hop. He was Russell Brand Easter Bunny.
I forgot
movie.
about
Oh, that's right.
Like
forgot about
he's
that
really
movie.
good at acting against something that's not.
and having like chemistry with nothing.
Yeah, it's very strange.
That's
Also,
rare.
did you know he's like 48? How does he look so young?
He's 22. Come on,
He
get out of
is
here.
ageless.
Like,
yeah,
what
people
the
love it.
hell?
Yeah.
He was Cyclops.
20 years ago.
That's so
Oh no,
weird.
I did feel old. That was 20 years ago.
He was Cyclops 20 years ago. He is aging
It's
so
like
well.
it's insane. It's like him and
Paul Rudd,
Paul Rudd. Yeah, those
Yeah.
are the two. It's like what? And I guess Tom Cruise too.
Jennifer Lopez,
Yeah. What?
ageless.
Yeah, Jennifer Lopez looks
Let's
like
talk about
30.
Hustlers for a half
Let's
hour.
talk
Oh, we can
about
talk about
Hustlers.
Hustlers.
But yeah, Sonic was great though. I agree with you.
So we're going to talk about the Fast and the Furious franchise. That's why we've got our Coronas here, Familia.
Familia.
So F9, the Fast Saga, is coming out this year, and that is why we have our Coronas, and that is why we are the Familia today. So the question is, which is the best Fast and Furious movie?
Oh, that's a question that people have been asking for centuries.
Ages.
All of them?
Centuries.
Ages. All right. Well, I know.
It's a saga.
Let's start
It
with
is.
me and Matt have the same answer, so we're gonna just jump in.
Do it.
It's Tokyo
It
Drift.
is Tokyo Drift. 1,000,000%.
It's 100% Tokyo Drift. Matt, why is it Tokyo Drift? Tell him.
I have a love affair with Tokyo Drift for probably all the wrong reasons. It's just trying not to swear. It's crazy. It's because it's about a kid who's just had too much trouble in his whatever hometown he's from, probably Texas, I'm sure.
Somewhere, yeah.
Gets sent to Japan to straighten him out. I don't know why you'd send your kid to whatever.
Yeah, and this is not a spoiler, but I love how they established this whole thing because he has a drag race against one of the kids from Home Improvement to the song Ba With Da Ba by Kid Rock.
Yeah.
To Ba With Da Ba by Kid Rock.
Oh my God, what a product of its time.
Amazing.
And
Also, I like how you were wary of spoilers. This movie came out a decade ago.
But also,
I just need to establish that.
didn't Ball with the Ball come out years before Tokyo Drift?
It sure did.
It wasn't even
Yeah.
relevant then.
It's a
Nope.
banger. If you were going to have
Listen,
a drag
it
race.
just got to Japan that year.
Oh,
No, this was back when he was at home in Texas or wherever he's from. Yeah.
Driving through a house that was being built.
With the oldest Taylor kid from Home Improvement.
Oh God.
Anyway, continue.
So everybody this kid Sean meets in Japan is just a caricature of someone else. Like Bow Wow sells things on the
Bow Wow
street.
sells phones.
Why?
Great. And then drifting comes into
And
play.
then there's drifting all of a sudden. That's when we meet Han for the first time. So I think that's where my love affair started because it's just Han snacking. He's like the mentor character that teaches young Sean to drift. And the movie has no connection to Fast and the Furious aside from like the Vin Diesel cameo for 3 seconds.
Well, it didn't at first.
It didn't at first. Yeah, there's a whole weird backstory behind that about not being able to get Vin Diesel in the movie, so let's put it in the future. It's a bad movie, but I love it. I think that's kind of why I love it, because you can see where Fast and the Furious is going within Tokyo Drift, like what it will eventually become when Justin Lin takes over the series. But there's still that connection to the past of like, this is a car movie and only car boys like this. And those car boys.
Car
BOIS, right?
Yeah,
boys.
this is an S, not a Z. Because like that's what 1, 2, and 4 are. They're carboy movies. But 3 is just kind of that gateway drug into what the series will eventually become, and that's kind of why I find it so endearing. And I've watched it way too many times.
I think the drifts are a lot of fun to watch, the drift racing.
Yeah.
And like that whole scene where everyone has their like crappy cell phones and they're like montaging like different points of the drift race. It's so ridiculous. And also Tokyo Drift is the best theme song for all of the
Yes.
Fast
were
and
they
Furious
flip out
movies.
cell phones?
What?
Was it
Yes.
flip out cell
Oh, yeah.
phones?
It was a flip out.
Yes.
They were flip phones.
It's such a weird moment in time, that movie. It's like early or mid 2000s, I'd say. I don't remember off the top of my
It's
head.
peak early 2000s.
Yeah.
It's so good.
We've all got razors.
But
Flip.
yeah, shout out to the Teriyaki Boys for that theme song. That is a great song. All right.
Is that a real band name?
The Teriyaki Boys
Oh my god, that's
made
great.
the Tokyo Drift theme song.
Yes.
It's a banger. It's
I'd say
good.
one last thing about that movie, really quick, is the thing that I kind of love about Sean, who is a terrible actor and a terrible
And he looks
character.
like he's 30 and he's playing a 16-year-old, which is a classic trope, of course. But
I'll have some
he's
thoughts about
so
that when we talk about my
obviously
favorite.
30.
Yeah, he's also like the most naive human in the all of history's existence. Like Tokyo,
What's drift?
that? Yeah, what's drift? Car? What's nos? I can't drive my car through a empty house. Ugh, get
So-
me back to Texas.
I haven't seen Tokyo Drift, but I genuinely hope he actually asks what Tokyo is.
No, but he does have like an accent that
Tokyo.
constantly is changing.
It is a weird
Yeah.
accent.
Tokyo.
It's not
What's
a Texas accent. It's like an
drift?
Arkansas accent mixed with like someone from New York at times. You know, whatever he's acting that day.
A hint of Louisiana.
Oh, a little hint.
dropped
Yeah,
in.
a dash of Louisiana.
You don't know what drifting is? Have you ever played Mario Kart?
He has not played
Please.
Mario
He's,
Kart. It's
He has
pretty
not.
he's
obvious.
definitely not played Mario Kart.
He's busy at Kid Rock concerts.
Obviously. All right, Chris, what is best Fast and Furious?
It's the worst title in the entire franchise, a thing I feel like I'm an expert on, but it is the best movie, and it is Fast and Furious number 6.
Number 6. Tell us why.
So 5 flipped the switch on what the franchise is from like car racing to
Action
heists.
series.
It also introduced everyone's best friend, my best friend, Dwayne The Rock Johnson,
Yeah.
as Luke Hobbs of the Diplomatic Security Service. But he was at odds with the family, and I hated that because that kind of made The Rock the villain in a little bit. 6, they team up because Letty isn't dead anymore.
Ghost.
She's not only is Letty
Zombie.
not dead, she's a villain. This is where we meet the Shaws for the first
Yes.
time. Letty's a bad guy. The family comes together. Han and Giselle are in love, bro. It makes my heart feel so good knowing those two found love. I understand it doesn't end well.
It
Does
doesn't.
not end well, but like I love that movie. It's the whole team comes together, and it's the last, like, obviously 7 is a good movie,
Yeah.
but like 7 had the death of Paul Walker hanging over it as like that's what we all had in mind.
Yeah.
Going, this was the last time I felt good and just pure about a Fast and Furious movie, and I loved it.
Because
Dave?
Han's the greatest character. So
And so this is where it gets sad.
So yeah, speaking of
It
bad
wrap-
things happening,
Yeah, it wraps back into Tokyo Drift,
Mm-hmm.
where suddenly Sean Boswell, who was 30 playing 16 in Tokyo Drift,
now he's
is
40 playing 16.
way older, but it's supposed to be the exact same time.
wait, seriously?
Yeah, that's
yeah,
the time.
they shoot
the
another scene
timeline.
to bring Vin into that world
Yeah.
because it's all
They couldn't
very-
get him back for another movie, so like, well, the third movie needs to be in the future just in case we keep this franchise going.
I don't.
But he wasn't in the second
I honestly
movie, was
don't
he?
even think they meant to make it a future movie at the time. It's just
I
when
think that
Vin
was
came,
retcons.
when Vin came back, they're like, oh yeah, we'll figure it out later. I
Who
don't know.
cares? It's a car movie.
But yeah, so like bad things happen in that movie, but we get Letty back.
Mm-hmm.
Dom and Letty get back together. We get lots of Han. We get lots of Giselle. Paul Walker's there. Like the family is there. It's the first time it felt like a
Family.
family in a
You
long
said
time. in a
family.
movie.
oh no,
Oh boy.
oh no,
It's the rule.
family.
Family.
Olive Garden.
When you're here, your family.
But legit, terrible title. It's just
So all the
Fast
times that
and
we said
Furious
family
6.
just now, including this, do we also have to take a drink? Is that part of the rule too?
No.
We only have so many beers, Dave.
When you're here, your family.
Mm-hmm.
Dave, what is best Fast and Furious?
Speaking of sad things happening, 7 is my favorite
Furious
Fast and
7's
Furious.
so good.
Furious 7. Because cars dropped out of helicopters.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who could forget that? It was just, I don't know, the action scenes were just incredible in it and so over the top, ridiculous. It was fantastic. I loved it.
And it made me cry.
Yeah.
At the
Oh
end.
my
Yeah.
god.
Oh, when that song comes up and then they're looking at each other and,
And they drive off on different roads.
drive off
Come
on different
on.
roads.
When they
Come
literally
on.
sunsetted him.
they
Oh,
did
right?
sunset
Yeah.
him. They
100%.
sunsetted him.
No, that movie is so emotional and so good.
It's heavy. It's good.
And that's where like I felt like it jumped. I don't want to say it jumped that series jumped the shark, but that 7's kind of where it's just like screw it. We're straight up superhero action movie at this point.
I do have so many questions about how everything works in that movie, though. Like,
But-
once Han
oh.
is dead, why is Vin Diesel allowed to go collect his body from Japan
Oh yeah,
to bring it back to Los Angeles? I guess
Oh, I mean,
That's
Han
confusing.
isn't from Los Angeles,
No.
Tom.
nothing about the movie makes sense. And that's part of what's so great about it.
It doesn't have to make sense.
Right.
It's just an action movie.
Right. It's just like, whatever. Who cares? It's like transition to another fun action scene. It's just it all transitions.
When Dom drives over the cliff and he's just like, better put your helmet on. Whoa. Holy cow. That's so good. When the helicopter thing, it's incredible.
In a way, it feels like a 90s action movie.
Yeah.
Made in the 2000s.
That's what the entire franchise feels like to me.
Yeah.
We have to go bigger this time. I don't know how. I know. Let's attack them with a nuclear submarine.
Right, and let's not forget that this is one of the few franchises that still do the number thing at this point.
Yeah.
You know, most don't anymore. Fast
I like
does.
that. Yeah, there's just no rhyme or reason to their naming scheme. And speaking of that, F9, the Fast Saga.
F9.
Thoughts on this title?
Why can't it be fine? I want it just to be fine. The Fine of the Furious.
F9.
F9.
9 of the face of the fast.
The Fine
Fast.
the Furious Fine.
It's
Yeah.
F9's my least favorite title.
Yeah, F9, the
Yeah.
Fast Saga. So the
It's-
Fast Saga, but not having The Rock, is that an insult? Yes or no?
Oh,
to The
boy.
Rock.
I'm so conflicted with
here's
The Rock.
here's where I'm. Well, first of all, I don't want people to have to work together if they don't enjoy working together.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Also,
But there are
Hobbs
plenty
and
of-
Shaw is dope.
Yeah.
So
Hobbs and Shaw is good.
Let
It's
them
wonderful.
keep teaming up and doing their
Wait,
thing.
what's
against,
the working
robots.
together drama? I don't know this.
Vin and
Vin
The
and
Rock.
The Rock got
They
beef, bro.
really?
Yep.
We only know about it because The Rock posted about it on Facebook for some reason.
Because The Rock, it's probably because The Rock's like, time to wake up at 2 a.m. and work out constantly, and Vin Diesel's like, I play D&D and I'm gonna sleep until 10 and then
Get
go to
off my
work.
back,
Didn't
old man.
Tyrese also get mad at The Rock on his
Tyrese
Instagram?
got mad because The Rock threatened his paycheck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Respect for that.
And also Tyrese wanted a spin-off. By the way, no one would see that. Well, I'd see it. Who am
I would
kidding?
100%.
I would
No,
still
I would
see
watch
it.
any of
Hair.
these characters in a spinoff, honestly.
I don't know.
but-
It's just so different from what you hear about from Jumanji, where it's just like every Junkin interview, they're all like best friends.
I feel like this was the one hiccup in The Rock's career of being
The
best
charismatic,
guy.
nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of action movies, let's bring it back a little bit. Let's talk about 90s action movies.
Well, the best decade for action
Oh,
movies.
yes. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the 80s are pretty
I was
good
gonna say,
too.
what about
The
the
80s were great.
80s?
The 80s are
Predator
good
is
too,
80s.
But the 90s,
right?
yeah, the 90s learned from the 80s, but the 90s almost kind of perfected it, I think. So let's talk about what was the best action movie from the 90s. Chris, let's start with you.
There is only one answer, and it's more of a concept than a movie, and it is Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage is the best action movie of the 90s.
100%. Con Air.
Oh, The Rock.
Face Off, The Rock.
Yeah.
That's 3 of the greatest action movies of all time.
I
That
don't disagree.
wouldn't be good without Nicolas Cage.
Agreed.
Face Off is incredible because of Nicolas Cage.
Watching, you people think Nicolas Cage is just some crazy person who does crazy things. Watch him emote as John Travolta. It's weird and so good.
So good.
And at the same time, he there's so much because that was a John Woo movie.
Yeah.
So there's so much John Woo action in this movie. Oh, it's so good. Con Air, it's just a bunch of convicts in an airplane. Come on.
On paper, that plot is so dumb, but
so dumb. But
when
what
you-
they,
but
When you give
Together.
Nicolas
They
Cage
made-
a mullet,
But it's not just Nicolas Cage. I mean, Danny Trejo,
John
John
Malkovich.
Malkovich. Oh God, Dave Chappelle for 10 seconds.
I think that's what's great about a lot of those action movies is you just take the most basic plot points, and that's it. That's all the movie had to be.
no, yeah.
Super basic plot points, run with it. And that's fine. You don't have to have all
Put
this complicated
charismatic
stuff.
people
Right.
in roles
Yeah.
and just let them do their thing.
Yeah.
And for a very long time, people just let Nicolas Cage do his thing in roles that
Well,
on the
Nicolas Cage
surface
just
make
doesn't.
no sense for Nicolas Cage,
Yeah.
but they work.
Imagine if Nicolas Cage got his Superman movie.
I feel like
At that
Nicolas.
I would see that a million times over.
I've seen the picture of him in the suit
with the
so
hair?
many times with the hair.
Oh.
And I'm
Beautiful.
this would have been terrible. I would have watched it so many
I
times.
feel like it's really just a case of Nicolas Cage says no to nothing. He just doesn't say no. So
Well, he's gotta pay off those
inevitably,
taxes.
Like
Inevitably-
Sam Jackson.
Yeah.
right. So inevitably, he'd be in some big action movies that worked.
I just want more National Treasure movies.
Of
No.
course.
Yeah.
Of course. Who doesn't?
But anyway, yeah, that Nicolas Cage as a whole
Nicolas
is the
Cage
best
is
thing about
the
action
best.
in the 90s for my money.
The best 90s action movie. Dave, what's your answer?
I was thinking T2 because
I think that's a good answer.
It's a good answer, but I'm not going with it.
Oh.
I'm going with Rumble in the Bronx, Jackie Chan. You all think 90s movies like the big 90s action star tough guys? I mean, Jackie Chan is.
Jackie Chan is a tough guy.
Jackie
He is a tough guy.
counts.
But
Jackie
but
Chan.
like
What are you
typically
talking about?
but typically people think of like the Arnold Schwarzeneggers or Sylvester Stallones. I'm going with martial artists.
Respect.
First of all, Rumble in the Bronx.
Steven Seagal.
Steve
I like
Seagal,
him.
yeah,
No.
true martial artist. Steve Seagal.
There will be no Seagal on this
Oh,
podcast.
that ponytail, man.
Jean-Claude Van Damme. But it was the first R-rated movie that I ever saw, so that's one thing that always holds a special place in my heart.
It's the first one I saw in the theater. First radar movies I saw in the theater.
Really?
We're connected.
There we
Dave.
go. Yeah,
you
you and
Family.
me, Chicago family.
He said it.
Oh no, I don't want to reach for it.
Familia.
Yeah.
All right, continue.
But Jackie Chan is just, in general, he's just so much fun to watch. He's charismatic as hell. He's a fantastic martial artist. He's funny. He does his own stunts, and they're always incredibly good. So Rumble in the Bronx is just the epitome of all that because he'd been doing. I mean, I believe it was the first American-released Jackie Chan film, if I'm not mistaken. I think I could be wrong. To
believe
theaters,
so.
I think so.
to theaters. He'd been doing a lot in China, obviously, but I think at this point, in a way, it was like he was at the peak of his craft because he'd already done, I think, Legend of the Drunken Master, and like he'd done a bunch, but I think like this was like
This was the first like one that landed
Right.
in American theaters.
first that landed in American theaters, but like
Wide release.
and he's still great, but I think like there's a pinnacle, there's an arc to his arch in a way of anyone's career, and I think this was his peak. Was this moment?
You don't think it was Rush Hour 3?
I mean, as much as I love the Rush Hour franchise, nah.
But his American movies are far different. Like
Yeah, they're much. They lean more into the comedy. They're like, well, he did an American movie a couple of years ago that was really good.
he also did a drama a couple years ago that was phenomenal. I cannot remember the name
Also,
of it.
if I remember correctly, Rumble in the Bronx also includes a Game Gear, just like Surf Ninjas, which is
Ooh.
also an important fact.
I appreciate that your brand is movies with Game Gear.
I think the kid is playing it at one point. There's no cartridge in the Game Gear.
But the sound from the game is it's a fighting ship game. I remember that
Yeah.
very, very specifically.
But yeah, it's just Jackie Chan's so good.
He is.
So good.
100%.
Fighting ship game is a thing I just said.
Yeah, you did.
Comment below.
Like and subscribe. Anyway, Matt, what's your answer?
I'm very conflicted in this. I love 90s action. And I want to say Last Action Hero because I do hold there's a big nostalgia factor to that, and it's a great movie. But I think True Lies is the best.
True Lies.
Oh,
True
all right,
Lies.
yeah.
Really?
It's just straight up. It's a straight up action espionage movie. Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to act.
Over Demolition Man.
Demolition Man. I as much that's my favorite movie of all time, but I consider that more sci-fi than action.
I would agree.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay.
That's
Sapphire,
fair.
All right.
yeah. And I want to go straight action. I'm going to go with True Lies. It's just everybody in that movie is phenomenal. Tom Arnold as the wacky friend. Jamie Lee Curtis as the boring housewife who secretly wants to get away from her quote unquote boring husband. I did air quotes. You can't see that on an audio podcast, but in a video you can. It's a 2.5 hour movie.
I didn't realize it was 2.5
It's,
hours.
I'm pretty sure it's over 2
That
hours
happened
guaranteed.
A lot in the
I remember
90s.
I
Yeah.
watched it when I was like 15 or 12, and I haven't watched it since. So I feel like I need to rewatch it
It's worth it.
And it flies by.
because I honestly don't remember it very well at this point. I know I saw it.
Yeah.
I had an Arnold Schwarzenegger phase because who doesn't?
Who doesn't?
You were alive in the 90s, of course. you
Yeah.
did. A lot of action movies back then were, way over the 2 hour mark. None of them felt like it because the pacing was, not as frenetic, not as
Every like action movies, they're all just so fast now
Yeah.
that like it's impossible to keep up. So when the movie pushes into the 2.5, 3 hour range, you're just tired.
like sit through an hour and a half Michael Bay movie now. You will want
No.
to cry and leave at the 45-minute mark.
How many transforming robots are in it?
Too many. Go sit through a Ronald Emmerich movie from like 1997. You'll be fine. That'll be a 4-hour movie.
There it is.
I
Oh,
miss
yes.
some of those like
Speaking
slower
of
cuts.
Chastity, what about you? Because you
me?
didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're.
You know what?
You got
This is
action
you.
movies.
The Matrix. The Matrix. I mean, like, it's cheating because it was at the tail end of the 90s, so it's like
Still counts.
barely
Still
made
90s
it.
though, still
But
in there.
I gotta say, The Matrix is my favorite. But
I don't even know that that's cheating. Like the Matrix encompasses so much.
Yeah.
It really does.
90s
It's
into
it does feel like a very
Yeah.
90s movie in a lot of ways, like the hacking and everything.
I think it just took all the learnings from what worked throughout the 90s and just incorporated all of that, and then also just made incredible strides in just terms of like bullet time and all the special effects. It was just such a something to behold. It was like such a huge piece of pop culture. And yeah, Keanu's great in it. The entire cast is really good. Lawrence Fishburne, Carrie-Anne Moss. I'm what is gonna happen in the fourth one, and why are they alive? Like, I have questions.
We can just go down the street and watch them film.
We
if you
could.
want.
They are
filming it
filming it
nearly
very
all right
close
here.
by.
I think that they're all
we have
just raving in
questions.
Zion, and that's gonna be the whole movie. It's just a Zion rave movie.
No, it's like they might as well just pretend 2 and 3 didn't happen.
Here's
like,
what
this
here's
is Matrix
my
2.
guess. Here's my guess of what we're gonna learn. The real world they were in was also a Matrix world. It's Matrix
Inception.
Right. I mean, that's been one of the long time running conspiracy theories. Is that's like that the Zion is that's the way they control them. Is that they
This
have the
was
fake real
also a
world,
Matrix.
right? So and
There
that's
are
why
levels.
Neo had his powers in the real world.
I just want them to do the respectful thing and also work hackers into their mythology.
Hackers is great.
No.
Yeah.
It's like
Chris and I have a conversation about hackers once a week.
It is funny though, because Chastity sent out the list to everybody. This is what we're talking about, and one of the topics was what's your favorite '90s movie, and she had The Matrix listed as hers. And I was just thinking, that's a '90s movie. Like I had to
Right?
think about
Yeah.
it for a second.
It feels like so different from, we were talking about movies that were a lot older, but it feels like
Yeah.
it's kind of at this turn of the millennium, which it was, right? So yeah, it's I don't know if that felt like cheating because it was like at the end. It's
Well, it
like,
was 1999, so it
1999,
counts.
so it
In the
counts.
yeah,
decade.
that's a weird one for me because it was like right at the tail, like because I graduated in 2000 from high school.
Same here.
So what up, dog? So like it hit me at that exact point of time where like, oh, the Matrix is such this huge thing, and it's hitting me like right at the end of high school, going into college.
And everyone saw that movie. Like out of all the movies that we've talked about, that we love
Everyone
all these
saw it.
movies, but everyone saw The Matrix.
There wasn't a person on this earth that didn't go to the movie theater to see see Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure star Keanu Reeves.
Wait. I screwed up my favorite action movie of the 90s.
Bill and
I
Ted's
done
Excellent
there's no
Adventure?
take backs.
No, I take it back.
There's no take backs.
Wow.
What
I
is it?
forgot
Poor
this movie
Rumble-
came
poor
out in the
Jackie
90s.
Chan.
What is it?
Because I was thinking about The Matrix and when it came out. And I was like, I always liked The Matrix. But you know what I liked more than The Matrix?
The Matrix
Blade?
Revolutions?
The Mummy.
The
Oh,
Mummy.
The
Yeah.
Mummy.
Mummy's
It
great.
doesn't get enough love.
The Mummy's
It's
fantastic.
fantastic.
I guess I said Indiana Jones was one of my favorite movies of all time. The Mummy's in that same vein, that like archaeological adventure movie, and I mean, I guess it's more of an adventure than a straight up action movie. But like it still has action. It
does.
counts.
It
The
does.
Mummy. The Mummy's the best thing ever.
Mummy's fantastic.
Best movie of all time,
no one's
other
gonna
than
argue with
Dread.
that. Everyone loves The Mummy.
It's almost as good as Last Action Hero.
Better.
Last Action Hero is just so
Last Action Hero
underrated.
rules.
All right, let's wrap this thing up. So thank you guys so much for watching this episode. Where can they find you? On Twitter or anywhere else that you'd like to plug?
I'm Mat Elfring. You have to put the I'm in there because someone else stole my name.
Wow.
What a jerk.
Wow.
On
What a
what,
jerk.
on what platform though?
Oh, it's on Twitter. That's all I'm at. Oh, I don't know what my Instagram is, so who cares?
I am at Chris Hayner on Twitter and Instagram.
Nice.
Oh, and at Theme Park Boy on Instagram.
Wait,
That's
what's
right.
on there?
Oh, just pictures of me at the theme parks.
Wait, don't you also have a Waterworld account?
Not anymore. Now it's Theme Park Boy.
Ah.
I'm making a brand, Dave.
I want both.
Well, you can scroll
I
back.
only have so much time.
Scroll back.
Yeah, the pictures are still there. Don't worry.
I'm at the Dave Klein, Klein on Twitter and Instagram, and Dave Control on YouTube, and GameSpot Universe on YouTube.
That's right. Like and subscribe, please. Thank you.
Smash that button.
Smash that like. I'm at Chastity_V. And if you want to send in any questions or comments about this show, please do. Please email ysbw@gamespot.com. That's ysbw@gamespot.com. And we'll see you next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.
I have so many questions to email.